When war broke out across the Middle East and the world got more noisier, I decided to look somewhere else entirely. I jumped on a flight to Bali, not to hide, not to run, but because sometimes the most important conversations happen far from the noise. My name is Gray BTC, a Dubai-based entrepreneur on a quest for survival skills of the 21st century. The conversation I'm about to have is one of those. Jidas Bali, Ubud, deep in the jungle, far from everything. I found myself sitting next to one of the most fascinating, controversial, and misunderstood men alive. But before we get to today, you need to understand who this man is. Russell Simmons, co-founder of Def Jam Records. 1984, a college dorm room, $0, infinite belief. What he built wasn't just a record label, it was the architecture of an entire culture. Run DMC, LL Cool J, the Beastie Boys, Public Enemy, Jay-Z, Kanye West, Dave Chappelle. When Def Jam was sold to Universal Music Group, Russell's stake was reported at over $100 million. 1992. Def Comedy Jam on HBO. He practically invented the template for black stand-up on television. Martin Lawrence, Dave Chappelle, Chris Tucker, Bernie Mac, then Fat Farm, his fashion empire that made streetwear a luxury conversation. Sold in 2004 for a reported $140 million. The Rush card, a prepaid debit card for the unbanked. Visionary, controversial, ahead of its time, and then Celsius, the energy drink that became a Wall Street darling. Russell was in early. Kim Kardashian. His ex-wife, Kimora Lee Simmons, millions on the table. And a court battle that is still playing out to this day. The man didn't just build one empire, he built 5. But Russell Simmons was never just a businessman, he was a husband. His marriage to supermodel Kimora Lee Simmons was one of the most watched relationships in entertainment. And their daughters, Ming and Aoki, didn't just inherit his last name. They inherited his spotlight. Both are models. Both are in the public eye. The Simmons name didn't stop with him. But empires built that fast. They cast long shadows. In 2017, allegations surfaced that shook his legacy to its foundation. The industry he helped build turned its back on him. He denied everything. And then, he left. Most men who fall from that height disappear. Russell Simmons built a wellness resort in Bali. Jidas, tucked into the sacred jungle of Ubud, is not a retirement. It's a reinvention. Mike Tyson did yoga here. Taraji P. Henson, Usher. The guest list looks like his old party list, except now they're waking up at 5 in the morning to meditate. The man who once ran the most powerful rooms in music, fashion, and Hollywood now runs the most peaceful one in Southeast Asia. So the question is, how? How do you go from Def Jam to Dharma? From 3 a.m. parties in Hollywood to sunrise yoga in Bali? What does a man like Russell Simmons know about peace? And what did it cost him to find it? Today, I find out.
Hey guys, welcome back to the pod. Today I am so excited about this one, even though I might appear calmer on this. But I have the godfather himself, Russell Simmons. We can talk about hip hop, we can talk about fashion, we can talk about beverage. Before all of you guys were doing e-com or starting brands on different kind of things, including drinks, before Jake Paul could do all these things that he's doing, this man here has done it all before, and then he evolved. Now he's a yogi, but still you can see the hip hop there, the snapback.
Where is it?
I mean, look at you. It's like you're a yogi and you have the snapback on there.
Oh, the snapback. That's
Yeah.
what you call my hat. Oh, yeah, I guess.
Exactly.
Mostly it's to keep the sun out my eye, but okay.
Right. So the hip hop is still there, and I did yoga with you the other day. And
Did you come to class?
I came.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I saw you. Very stiff.
And and it was the first time I ever did yoga to hip hop playing in the background.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, we every day. Come today if you like.
Yeah, I could. So, man, we can talk about a lot of things, but this is a very selfish podcast for me because I would like to learn. You know, I've read all your books. I've watched pretty much every interview you've ever done. And it's
What a
unreal.
waste of space. You did all that.
I mean, yeah.
Well,
So-
the books are the same. You notice?
The books are?
They all very similar.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like because they're written at a different time, there is some difference to it,
Yeah.
in a way.
All right.
So today, in 2026, how do you introduce yourself?
Well,
I know you don't have to.
Well, I say hi, my name is Russell Simmons. Pursue what happens after it happens, but to introduce myself, you mean to describe who I am? I'm, you know, I was an entrepreneur. I still have some entrepreneurial ventures I'm invested in, and but I think that my last chapter of my life is dedicated to holding space for people to heal.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we live in a very toxic world. We always have, but today it more concerns me than it did before. And I feel like I'm best served if you look at yourself in the context of the world. How are you serving the world?
Mm-hmm.
And at different times in your life, you have different services you can provide. Mine was comedy and poetry and music and financial service and various different social activism, a lot of that, and political activism. But now it feels like my job is to help people, to hold space for people to heal. And so people come, Mike Tyson's been twice, Usher's been twice, Taraji's been twice. Many people come here to this hotel
Mike Tyson have been here?
2 times.
Wow.
But people come here to get away from the toxic world, because sometimes you need a break. And some people come when they're on the brink of overexhaustion,
Mm-hmm.
and they're really suffering. And they find that the simplicity that they already have is their strength. And so I'm here to remind people to remember their divine qualities, to help people to find themselves, and then they can go back into the world and suffer if they want to. But suffering, as you know, is your own doing. So teach people to suffer less.
All right, so
That's what I do. I'm here to help people heal
okay, it's interesting that you
while healing myself. Right? Of course, we all are struggling a little bit in this world, but these principles, these practices from yoga and from these scriptures are ones that we all know etched inside us, but we forget. So I'm here to remind people of their greater potentials.
So, in this introduction of yours, you did not mention a single time about what you did. Like you co-founded Def Jam, Fat Farm, which was sold for hundreds of millions of dollars, and Celsius is also your project, right?
Yeah,
You helped find
I
that. as
built that company, but that's another story. We might not cover it.
well. Okay.
But we can talk about it, but it's a long story.
Yeah, but I mean, you had something to do with it.
I
at the point
found
in
that
time.
brand and I helped to launch it, and we got LeBron and Kobe and Kim Kardashian and Puffy and Jay. Everybody helped to make it a popular brand.
Mhm.
And that was, when I found it, no one knew what it was. So I did do that, yes. But that was when I thought it was, when I first found it, it said no aspartame, no this, no. And of course it was the healthiest of all the energy drinks.
Right.
Still, I find that it was never a health drink. It was a healthier drink. But I invested in it, and it's a long story as to why I'm still invested, but I still do care about its future for the meantime.
And you also helped careers of people like Jay-Z and Kanye West. I mean, the list goes on, and also a lot of the comedy aspect of Def Jam. But so, how does this feel for you today? Like, is this a complete past that is irrelevant to you, or you still tap into it every now and then?
Well, my friendships that I gained over the years are not irrelevant. Like, I speak to a lot of the people who I work with quite often. This morning spoke to Dave Chappelle. I spoke to Snoop. I spoke to who else did I speak to this morning? I speak to a lot of these people all the time. The ones I worked with, in the past. So I still have business because I run we didn't mention, I do run a company called Gush Cloud. I'm the chairman of a company called Gush Cloud. And it is an influencer company. It's in 13 countries, has 13 offices that manage this next generation of creatives. And this creator economy is new and unmanaged. So the idea is to giving them services that maybe banks can't give them, or maybe, you know, insurance and, you know, discount prescription drugs, or life insurance, health insurance, home insurance, mortgages, all those things we want to provide for this creator economy. And because they make their money in the way that they do, they're not really bankable.
Right. I'm one of those people.
Right. Well, yeah, we could, for instance, loan you based on your YouTube business, which is one of the things that they do at Gush Cloud. So I'm a partner in that company. And other than that, I don't really work much in the outside world. But yes, that is something that I'm still very invested in, because that company has to go public soon, I think. And I think I have to help them with that. I know I do, actually.
Right. So I know, personally, I know your beginnings and how you got into the music industry and so on, and built Def Jam. I've read the books, but in that, if you had to look back at that time, and then you have to compare to what the industry is like today, what would be the moves that you would make to sort of build another empire, but in the world as it stands today?
I don't think I'm qualified to repeat what I did for Def Jam. I loved the music. There were no management or no music companies or no real belief system in place for them to achieve the artist levels that they did. In other words, they thought they were music when we made records, which was later.
Yeah.
But even before they made records, no one took them very seriously. But when they made records, people thought they were just records and not talented people. And so therefore they didn't help develop images and careers and, you know, long-standing relationships with their fans. And that was something that I was very focused on early. Like when we named Curtis Blow, and you weren't born, but when we named him the King of Rap.
Right. Curtis Blow was the King of Rap?
Yeah, Christmas Rapping and The Breaks, those two records.
Yeah.
And we put his picture on a 12-inch because there were no albums. And it was this belief that he was a star, not that his music was a hit, but that he was a star. He was a hit. And that was a big difference for us early on, the belief that these artists had greater potential than making a record.
Amazing. And then looking into, let's say we look at today and what the music industry has become, if you had, obviously you don't want to repeat what you did before, but what angle would you take? Because now it feels like it's saturated because of the internet and things like that, and opportunity is unclear.
You have to take the new tools and use them in the best way possible. I'm having meetings over the last few days with a friend who's built this whole infrastructure where you upload your Spotify records and other information, and all your records go into this AI tool, and this tool, AI Ambition or Ambition AI, gives you which platforms at what time and how best to, and who to collaborate with and what you're expected of, and you give it a mission. Say, I want to be a country western singer, and you give it to this tool, and this tool tells you best how to grow your career. And it answers questions like a manager, but in some ways more effectively because it uses the data. And it gets to understand you pretty well, pretty quickly. And as AI evolves, and that will be more of a tool, and a lot of what it's doing is automating your future. What artists don't like doing, in general, artists do not like meeting with the manager. They do not like meeting with the accountant. They do not like, so taking some of the stuff they don't want to do off the plate and allowing them to be artists only is a very special new opportunity. And so there's this business that I'm helping with that will probably change. Not only that one, I'm sure there are competitors, but none are available yet. But these tools that are available will change the face of the way that we interact with artists and change the way artists interact with us in that artists will not have to Of course, they'll always be looking for new consumers and new ears to listen to their music. But if someone is choosing how best to find their ears, it makes it easier for them. Someone is choosing how best to grow their communities and their relationship with their communities, and that's a big part of their future, and a big part of the burden that they have trying to become successful.
And in hip hop, for the most part, is driven by dreaming and goals and objectives and the drive to succeed. It's very much a huge part of hip hop. And a lot of artists, they start off and they really want to make it big, pretty much. It's part of the narrative, what the rappers talk about. But if you look at the very top of it, there have been very few artists or sort of managers and so on that have built really great careers. One of them is Steve Stout. I met him in Dubai, great guy. And then you got Jay-Z, and you got you have people like Dr. Dre, billionaires now. What do you think are the traits that made guys like you to really make it so big than, say the average?
Oh, I think there's something that a lot of people lack is resilience. You have to stick to it. People start on a mission and then they quit. And this is an obsession these days, a new idea, I don't think it's only these days. I mean, it's just the nature of entrepreneurship requires a person to stick to their goals. I always say you can never fail until you quit. But people quit so often. They say there's something wrong, it's not working. Well, that particular route you took is not working as well. So now you just deviate a bit, but you stay on your hustle. And you cannot fail until you quit. So you just stay on your hustle. And I think that people don't have the stick-to-itness. You got to stay on your hustle. And that's what Steve Stout had. That's what everyone has. You have an idea, and when you start to explore the idea, it looks great. And then you go down the road, and suddenly you find the roadblocks. And people quit on the roadblocks. Every time. Not everyone, but most people quit before they achieve what they, there's a great yogi. Yogananda says the imagination is God. But he also says hard work, dedication, faith, and resilience is the God realization. You realize it through dedication, through devotion, through hard work. And I think it's a path, any path that you take that's independent, requires for you to be resilient and faithful and to keep readdressing whatever it is you're building.
So when was the last time, say, you spoke to Jay-Z?
6 months ago. I'm not very close to Jay. I mean, we had a meeting, long meeting. It was nice to hear from him. I hadn't spoken to him even before that some time. But what about him?
I'm just trying to understand how locked in, how close you still are to the industry and what's happening today. Because
the
you
people
live
I
in
work
Bali.
with, I'm still close to, and I go back and forth. I go to America all the time. I have an office in LA.
Right. What about Kanye West? Do you still talk?
We do, but I haven't spoken to him in a while either. But I spoke to his manager yesterday,
Right.
John Monopoly. So I still have a relationship with Kanye. I was never that close, nor his first performance was on Def Poetry Jam, right? And I remember hearing about him for a long time as a producer, and I know that he wanted to be a rapper, and I know that people needed him to continue to make their records. And so I never got involved in a debate, but eventually Damon Dash really started to take control of the situation and pushing him, because he was a Def Jam artist through Rockefeller. And Damon Dash, really pushed him after, I guess, everybody, was tough on him to record finally. Or Damon worked with him or helped him to get past that hurdle. And he made, of course, that classic album. But, there was a long time that he was just producing and really desiring to rap, but not getting the chance he wanted.
So when it comes to people management in every business, whether it's right now here at GDAS or in places like music, you have different kind of personalities that might have some genius in them, but they also come with their own other aspect of their personality.
Everybody comes with that. Everybody comes with baggage, but
how do you deal with that? Because I think it can be very easier just to eliminate someone based on some traits that you might not like Kanye West, for example.
You know, you have to be able to see, if you're lucky enough to see their genius, and get the best out of them, and encourage them as much as you can, and advise them to the best of your ability to let them flourish. I always say, you don't, like I said, we want to hold space for people to heal. I cannot heal anyone.
Right.
But holding space, you know, allowing people to express themselves as artists, and you know, and still allowing them to go through their kinks and the rest, and be useful to them when they are going through them. That's a trait that I think is very valuable, and most managers have to have it, or they wouldn't be successful.
Yes. And then let's transition now from what you did in the music to what you're doing now. You built this beautiful place, and I would like to know, have you ever built anything before this, like of this type?
I never
spaces?
built a bathroom. It was, you know, I came here and I had this great designer that built my house, this is part of my house.
Mm-hmm.
And then after he built the house on time, on budget, I was amazed. And I thought I wanted to build a school for yoga. And I started to build a school, and then the next thing I know, I wanted the same materials that are in my house.
Mm-hmm.
And so the yoga school suddenly has five-star elements. And if you know anything about yoga schools, they're mostly kids who can't afford to stay 30 days in some five-star hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So as the hotel was completing, I only had one other mission. I certainly didn't want to just own a hotel, was to build the rejuvenation center next door, because I've invested in a company called Next Health.
Okay, but wait, so I think we jumped the gun a little bit. My question was more like, so you're in America, you're doing everything else, you're doing the business. At what point did you decide that, okay, I'm just going to go to Bali? Is it after a sale of a big company? Or?
No, I came to Bali, you know, there was a lot of noise in the media. I came to visit for a little bit, and then I kept coming back. It kept drawing me back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm 68. I felt very comfortable here.
Yeah.
So I started building my house. And when I finished the house, that's when I realized I wanted to build something for people to heal. But it was going to be through yoga.
Mm.
And so now this place I jokingly refer to as Yoga and Vegan Disneyland. It really is a place of healing, and there's lots of yoga, but also all the other healing techniques are being promoted here, physical and spiritual. We have all the modern health technologies, not all, but many, stem cells and these kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have natural remedies. We have a clinic in the back that promotes all kinds of, you know, detoxes and very, you know, a lot of things that have been, I think, held back, or what's the word? They've been, what do you, when you hold something? But they've been pushed to the side
Mm-hmm.
in favor of pharmaceutical drugs.
All right.
And the fact is, these natural remedies, which are available all over the world, sometimes with different names, that we've learned are great healing tools, these herbs, and yet they've been pushed to the side. So we have a lot of natural healing.
Yes.
And then we also have some not modern health and medical procedures and toys and things here, so that we do things that are more healthy. A lot of the pharmaceutical toys are not so good, and tools are not so good. And so what I wanted to do is give people tools that are helpful to them, and that can lift them up and can keep them from also the preventative idea.
Mm.
We're more in the preventative idea. People are prone to many diseases. We don't serve animal product. Animal product is a great cause of cancer.
But look,
It's a great cause of many, many diseases and chronic illnesses. And so we don't serve any.
but Uncle Russ, so you're in the business world, you're in America, you're in the Hollywood space, and that's all you have understood for a long time.
I've been practicing yoga for over 30 years, and I've been vegan for 30 years.
But then what triggered you to just get into this world? Because it's a very unusual switch, you know, like people who are in the music industry, you make a bunch of money, usually you just become an investor, and you know, the predictable stuff, you know?
Well, you look for a meaning in life, and it takes you in different directions. It's very meaningful to find inner peace. In fact, life's only goal is inner peace. Life's only goal is self-discovery.
Mm-hmm.
So through all the work you do, through all the music you make, and poetry and comedy, and through all the fashion, through all the other financial services, through all of those things, you're still etching away at the spirit. And as you dig deeper, you find the self. The self is God's consciousness. You find a piece of it, and you realize that this path may not be serving you, making music, making films, making television, or fashion, or you might not find that as helping you to evolve towards the main goal in life is self-discovery.
But do you still remember your first yoga session?
Yeah, yeah, I do. My first class was a teacher named Steve Ross, who actually brought me here. He was also in the media, worried about a story coming out, and so he said, "We're leaving," just to be out of it for a short time.
Yeah.
And Steve brought me here to Bali, over 8 years ago. And Steve, the first class I went to, he played the song "Fuck the Police" by NWA.
In the yoga session?
Yeah. And he was a very fun teacher, and yoga was not so popular then, but his class was very popular in LA. And there was all these actresses and stuff in there, and it was playing cool music. And after class, I was thrilled. I went back every single day. And he, although he played "Fuck the Police," and although he made lots of jokes, he had been a monk. And he was a great first teacher because he was relatable to me. And then also the class had Meg Ryan and Goldie Hawn and Helen Hunt and a bunch of models, and there was no guys, just girls. Like, oh shit, I like this. I remember laying in Shavasana, the last pose you lay in, corpse pose. And I was like, oh my God, I want to do this shit every day. This is it. And I went every day.
Were you as stiff as me, or probably better? Were you more stiff than I am now?
Oh
or?
yeah, I could barely bend over.
Yeah.
I was, a few years before I found yoga, I quit drugs. I used a lot of drugs. I was really unhealthy. So yoga helped me in many ways. Physically, yes, of course, but spiritually, which is the thing that we all have to really work on. The less noise in the mind, the more happy we are. So the idea of emptying the mind never occurred to me as a practice. I know that we know how it feels when the mind is empty, this happiness that sets in, but is it life's goal to empty the mind? And the yogis know, and what they call Christ consciousness is when you be still and know. Heaven on earth, or nirvana, or samadhi. Muslims refer to taqwa. This God's consciousness happens when the mind is still. That's the purpose of yoga. Yoga is the science of quieting the mind, which really all of the good karmic work you do and other stuff the devotional work and all the prayers and all that's to quiet the mind. Because when the mind is still, the person rests in his self, and his self, his higher self, the kingdom is inside you, right? So the more you quiet the mind, the more you access this higher self, this God's consciousness. And this is life's goal. Everything we do is designed for another second of presence. New car, orgasm, anything you do is designed to bring you to this place. And so you doing these things to get an end of neediness. And yoga, or Christ consciousness, is a state of needing nothing. To be here now with no neediness. This freedom is the greatest payoff for all the shit you do. It's why the new car, for a minute you sit there, right? Or even if you're playing basketball and the ball comes in slow motion, this is yoga.
Right. For me, it happens when I'm running.
When you're running,
when
suddenly
I go 20 kilometers and then everything slows down. I feel
that's right. This zone that they refer to is what's called the state of yoga, or Christ consciousness, or nirvana for Buddhists, or taqwa for Muslims, or many names. But this is what we're seeking in every action we take, to get that feeling. And when we know that, we choose the actions that help us get there, and the ones that don't, sometimes we're forced to go through them, but they're not preferred. The preferred actions are the ones that give you this great result.
Right. Was this taken here?
No, I was on Mike Tyson's podcast with Rosenberg. That's a picture of the three of us,
Right.
And the Usher picture that you're going to ask me about next.
Yeah, exactly.
Was a long time ago.
I mean, if what made you choose these specific pictures? Because I'm sure you have pictures with every famous person.
Well, I mean, the ones who the Beastie Boys are great memories. And I don't speak to them so much. Minister Farrakhan is my second father. Quincy Jones was an inspiration. Jay-Z, I've known since he was a kid. Snoop, the same. Will Smith, the same.
Has Will Smith been here before?
No, Will has not been here. But who knows? We talked about it the other day. But so anyway, the pictures are just random. I have so many pictures. I mean, they're not. I'm sorry, they're not random. The ones up front, my daughter placed and moved some others.
Yeah.
But no, these Minister Farrakhan again is my second father. Usher has been here again a couple times. It's different, but
Minister Farrakhan has been here before?
No, he has not. No, but he's my second father.
Yes.
I was saying, yeah.
Do you
Andre
like-
Harrell was my dearest friend. He named the hotel. He was sitting here. Andre was sitting here with me, and the house was just opening.
Yes.
And there was no hotel. And I said that my mission was to heal people. And I told him that Krishna gave me a name, which of course if you tell somebody from the hood that Krishna gave you a name and they're Christian, they laugh at you. And I knew he would, it was funny, but I said the name was Govinda Das Ananda, which means God's blissful servant. And Andre said, I'll call you G-Das, which means God's servant. So that's why the hotel's called G-Das.
Okay, I was going to ask about
And he
that.
left, and Andre died
Yes.
for lack of self-care.
Ooh.
From heart disease, right? So Andre, is an example of why it's, a special mission to help your friends who are suffering from the toxic food and world, especially in America, to have a new life, to pick habits that will enrich their last years, because my friends are all getting old, just like me, right? And they need something else. They can't keep living. They can. But, look, there's a picture of Irv Gotti. Irv Gotti,
Yes.
the last time I spoke to him, he was racing to figure out how to call Lucian Grains about being the chairman, being the president of Def Jam.
Yes.
He thought the job might be available. And I'm like, you need to come here. I heard you had a heart disease and you were struggling.
Yes.
And he said, I'll come right after. Just give me a number. I gave him the number he wanted, and a week later he was dead. So my point is that my friends are living in a very difficult world, many of them. I visit all the time, and I see them, and even the anxiety. People,
Yes.
I was coming out of Equinox Gym in Sunset Boulevard about a month ago in LA, and a drone flew by. Pretty big drone, though, right?
Like a military drone?
I didn't see it. My friends saw it, and they ducked. And they said, oh, shit. They thought it was because there was a whole discussion about drones attacking LA. And so, literally there's anxiety everywhere. People are living in a very difficult place, and they're worried about, there's nothing we can do. I also think about the president. They hate him so much. Don't we hope what he does turns out okay? Don't we hope that people don't pay taxes under 150 grand? He promises that. Or that the health care will be cheap. He promises that. Or that that the Abraham Accords will get signed and all the Middle East become peaceful. He's working on that. So I hope those things work out. As a person, you see Trump's pictures there, along with Obama and President Clinton. I just think that there's no sense hating everything he does. We have to hope that the choices that he makes on our behalf work out. That, he's been very unorthodox. No one thought he would win president. No one thought he'd win again. And no one knows what really is going to happen with these initiatives he's taken on that seem radical. Maybe the tariffs will work out, and maybe people will not pay taxes. Maybe the war will end in a way that promotes safety in the Middle East and a new beginning. We don't know whether we would have made the choices or not. Since we're not president, we don't have to worry about that. What we have to worry about or hope for is that the things turn out good, to have a positive attitude. Doesn't mean you can't protest.
Yes.
It means hoping that you fail as a country because the choices that are made on your behalf are not the ones you would have made. Doesn't make good sense. Because you don't know, and we never know, how these things will turn out.
And you used to be close to President Trump before he was president, of course.
Yeah.
You have
Many
parted
years,
with him.
many years.
You have known him.
Traveled all over the world with him.
Right. Did you ever think he would become president one
No,
day?
I did not. No, I did not.
What do you think concerns people about him the most? Or do you think he
I
ever
think that there's a
changed?
lot of discussion about race,
Mhm.
and some of it's very justified. But I think Democrats like to use race so much so that it disempowers people.
Right.
Right? You as an African, you come to America, you're not going to really feel racism.
Right.
Really?
I know this. Whenever I'm in the States, I get the feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not going to feel locked out of anything.
No, I can relate to the concept of what America is being taught when it comes to race and those
You think you can make it in America?
Absolutely. I can make it anywhere.
Right. See, I don't like that people feel so disempowered and they blame I'm 100, so I definitely came. I made Nutty Professor. I didn't even know I was the first black producer. I mean, no producers were making movies that cost, $80 million that were just riding around in a go-kart.
Yes.
Nobody. I mean, they were producing because they were famous and their name got put on the thing, but they weren't like in charge
Right.
of big budget movies. And I remember when I made the Oscars So White All Deaf Movie Awards.
Yes.
It really was a lack of inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
But now I look at the Oscars and they're not so white anymore. Oscars so black.
Yes. Pretty
So
much.
I see this new shift. Hollywood has turned everything into integration.
Yes.
Oh, you look on TV, every dentist that's black is married to a white woman, and every white, doctor is married to a black woman. And when you're watching TV,
Yes.
the movies, the images, then you have the law and the social. The social norm on television looks like integration that we fought for is very fluid and possible. Now, there's a lot of segregation, but I think that the reality is everybody can see themselves in any position.
Yes.
And then when they go to apply for a job, they can apply for any position.
Yes.
And then without DEI, they have to hope that there's not a racist boss,
Right.
but the likelihood if they're qualified, they'll get the job.
Yes.
And I feel that. And I don't like to be disempowered because I never felt like there was no room I couldn't walk in. And I don't want my kids thinking that.
Do you think?
I don't want my kids fed this lie that because they're black, they can't make it. And this is very important to me, that the Democrats like that. Malcolm X told us, Minister Farrakhan always told me this liberal mindset that I've been fighting for, with, and supporting was a detriment to the black community. I didn't see that. Also, integration obviously was a detriment to the black community. The black economics were destroyed by integration.
Pretty much.
Right, but once it was destroyed, what do we do now? We go out and take advantage of the world.
Yes.
We do the best we can. So integration is here. Whether we take advantage of it or not is up to us. Not taking advantage of it, we live in a smaller pot.
Do you think then the Democrats have anything to offer if race politics are removed? Like, what is their proposition at this point?
If race politics are removed, what are they offering? That's a good
Right.
question. I don't want to get called a traitor. Black men and women are attacked for thinking. I flew all over the world with Trump. I saw something yesterday that said that black people were never at Mar-a-Lago. I'm like, I went there every week with him. Every week I get on his plane and go to Mar-a-Lago, and he would, put me up for free and take care of me. My brother as well, his family would take Reverend Run and his family on his plane. Week after week, Reverend Run would go to, and we'd go there, and he would like to show off. Say, Russell, look at all the Jews. They don't have a spot to go nowhere else. Only my club lets them in. And then he would like to show me off because I was black. He didn't say,
Right.
here's my black friend. He would just like to see the faces
Right.
of the people to see his black friend.
Yes.
He never said that, I'm showing you
Very
off.
very Trump thing to do.
Yeah, like look at my friend. And to make people uncomfortable even.
Yes.
So he did that. And then also I used to use Mar-a-Lago to have fundraisers where 500 black people or 300 and 200 white people would come and go to his ballroom, and we'd raise millions of dollars for my charity. And he would donate and he would show up. So when someone says no black people were at Mar-a-Lago, I take exception to that because I was there with hundreds of black people.
Yes.
So, I do see that politics of this idea that white men feel so threatened, that the world is changing against them.
I think
It's just, it's a stupid idea, right? White men feel like the world's, but he's got a lot of supporters who believe that, it's equal already, leave them alone. They're not saying kill black people, they're saying stop giving them my shit.
right.
The horrible idea, it's not true. Black people do deserve reparations, but it's a little different from just saying that they're racist,
Yes.
that they're insensitive, they're ignorant to some degree. There are a lot of things, but they're not racist, those people, And now, of course, the Republican Party is the house of a very racist strand of American population.
I think using racism in this context, it's very problematic because it just disempowers people. In Africa, it's the same, where we fed this narrative of like everything that's wrong here is because colonialism and the white man did it. To the point
I don't want to be in a fight with liberals. I've seen how they've emasculated men. I've seen how they've done a lot of things that have been they're very self-righteous, the left. And I've been far to the left of all of them.
Yeah.
But my left policy was about compassion.
Yes.
And I do believe black people in America deserve reparations. We're just as likely to get them from the Republicans as from the Democrats. We're not going to get reparations sitting still praying that the Democrats wake up one morning and actually deliver.
Yes.
Some of the things that they fight for, there is police brutality, and black people are treated differently. And there are many inequalities, but the law is there to protect you. The reality is here that we can make it, and we must put our head, as each individual has to go to work and do the best they can with what they have. We cannot be disempowered by a narrative that we can't make it. And there is a strand of the Democratic narrative. There is a part of the Democratic narrative that disempowers black people in that way. So I just, I would not say that I was, I voted Democrat, but I do see this idea, especially since you watch every other immigrant. Africans, you guys come to America and excel.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Jamaicans come to and excel. Cubans come and excel. Everybody.
Yeah.
From any other country, Chinese,
Yes.
Korean,
They're
excel.
killing it. Yeah.
Pakistani, excel. And yet black people are suffering and blaming the white man. The white man is ruling today, and if you keep crying and pointing fingers at the reasons you're crying, at everything except you have to get control of you.
Right.
Or the white man will be in control tomorrow, the next day, and the day after that. Unless you get control of you.
What perspective?
And there is a percentage of our black community who need to get control of themselves. We have a very, we had records. Listen to Curtis Blow, If I Rule the World. Listen to Nas's If I Rule the World. Listen to all the records we made. Listen to The Message. Listen to all the music we made. Listen to Public Enemy.
Yeah. KRS-One.
KRS-One. Listen to all of it. And it was all about our struggle, but about our opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right about that.
And now there is a part of our culture, not all of it. We have Kendrick Lamar, and we had many great artists who say many inspiring things, but there's a low note playing in our culture that needs to be addressed. Can't make anybody say anything. I want people to tell the truth, but tell the truth. Here you are, you floating on a yacht. Don't talk about shooting people. And if you do go out and shoot somebody and you go to jail, and you're not going to be on your yacht next summer, and if you're not going to make it to the south of France next year because you're in jail, then you're an idiot.
But what do you think would be the solution to this as a community? Do you think...
I think that it's the thing that the Nation of Islam always promoted, and my father, Minister Farrakhan, always said, do for self. And by example, each one of us has to do the best we can to uplift our brothers, but to uplift ourselves. And so, if you ask me, I will say there is a strand in hip hop that is hurtful to the black community.
Right.
And there's a strand in culture that is really uplifting.
But
you have
then
to make the choice yourself which ones you're listening to.
part of the narrative when it comes to hip hop and its influence and the strain that you're referring to, people talk about the Jews control hip hop and then therefore they're responsible for spewing.
Ain't nobody told me what to. No one has ever told me what to allow an artist to say. They've always said what they wanted. I have stepped
So
in. I
it's
remember I
not
had a
true?
record, the South. This is one example, many examples.
Right.
South Central Cartel. They was real gangsters.
Yeah.
They was Crips, and they was such Crips that they hadn't seen the rest of the world. They came to Beverly Hills to visit me once, and they wanted to know how to get home. I said, "Why? You got guns and drugs in the car? What the fuck?" No, I just don't want to. Because the police, because they had jerry curls and a T-shirt, they get thrown over because they looked a certain way. But they actually didn't know that they could actually get home. And I said, just go down Crescent Heights. They really felt threatened just being like they were in war territory by being in Beverly Hills. They're in Beverly Hills thinking they're in war territory. But it's the way they looked. It's their lack of sophistication.
Right.
Some other black guys speeding on Sunset Boulevard, and here they are scared to go down Crescent Heights, and they gangsters.
So it's not true that there's some Jewish executive telling rappers
I'm going
what
to get back to that. No,
say.
fuck no, man. No one ever said what to say. Now, it is true that people have enabled black artists to say things that are hurtful as hell to their own community. But how do you stop that?
I think that's more like...
How do you stop that? I mean,
It's
do you think that
cultural.
Lucian Grains can tell Drake what to say?
No way.
You think that, you think that Drake's half Jew, but I've been a friend to the Jewish community
Yes.
my whole life. I ran the Foundation for Ethnic Understanding for 25 years. I put imams in synagogues and rabbis in mosques all over the world, including in Israel, where they said it was impossible. And I see the tremendous rise in anti-Semitism. And it is a threat to those Jewish community members, and it as a result of the war, right? Obviously the war and the treatment of the Palestinian people. Netanyahu, I don't support. I'm a Zionist. Oh yeah, I want you to have your state. The expansion of Zionism is, to my way of thinking, a horrible idea, and it is the cause, a big piece of the cause of the rise of anti-Semitism. People say, oh, well, there's all kinds of injustice, but not that's supported by America. And if it is, it's hidden. Of course, there's people pulling the minerals out of the ground in the Congo. And of course, there's support for lots of regimes that are treating their people and even promoting genocides of other people. There is support by different elements of the American business community that really is causing destruction all over the world, but not so blatant as to give them a bomb to blow up the people who have the minerals, right? So America's support, blind support of Israel. I saw Trump today said something about Lebanon.
Yeah, that they should stop bombing Lebanon.
And he said it in a very forceful way. I hadn't heard that from any president, to tell Israel what to do in such a forceful way. I'm hopeful that it will stick. Things change by the day. By the time you run this, we'll know the difference or not. But, I don't like Netanyahu or the choices made by the Israeli government. But I also have too many Jewish friends who are scared to even walk out their door, even over in Hollywood. They go to the synagogue and they walk. They're afraid. They get beat up. There's really a lot of anti-Semitism and even violence and hate crimes that are being committed in America, and I'm sure around the world. And it is in part because of the choices made by the Israeli government. So I'm praying that this war ends, that the Abraham Accords get signed, that there's a consensus among the Muslim world that they can live in peace, and there's consensus in Israel that the choices to keep expanding their Israeli territories stops. So I'm hopeful that happens, and we'll have to wait and see.
Great answer. I think we got a lot of things from there. Give me a beautiful long that I can cut up into so many pieces.
Okay.
And then just move on to the last topic about money. So there is all talk about money does not make you happy. that a lot of people like to say. You know, you have been broke and then you made so much of it. Would you say money does not really make you happy?
Well, money had nothing to do with my happiness. But I am unhappy when I can't help friends and people who sometimes are in positions where they can't help themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, resources are forgiving. The more you get, the more you can give. And giving is a part of the joy of being alive, being a good servant. And, you know, but responsible giving, not just to enable people to, you know, to be frivolous, but to help people to live a productive and comfortable life. And so for me, money is, you know, I don't want a yacht. I don't need a plane.
Anymore? Or
anymore.
Is it a phase thing? Do you think you have to go through it? You make money, then you have all the yachts?
You don't have to have all the junk. Some people, you know, people who don't know any better walk into fire.
Right.
Some people look at the fire and say, I'm not fucking with that.
I think
some people say, I'm not going in the fire.
Yeah, so
right. They don't have to burn.
You learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah, or just, yeah.
Right.
You have instinct or experience or previous lifetimes, or, you know, you don't want to do things that are hurtful because you know they hurt you.
What was your experience like in that? Like once you made, let's say you made the biggest check ever, you're like, I can have anything I want now.
I didn't get anything of any value from any check. I got a house that was too big. The bathroom was so far from the bedroom, I had to divorce my ex-wife. The house was just too big. I couldn't live with it. The whole thing was just too much. It made me sick. That's
a problem that, oh, now I have a big house, but then the bathroom is too far away from the bedroom.
Yeah, it's all one suite too. To walk to, if I was going to pee on myself, if I kept fucking around in that house, it was just too big, too much.
That's I learned rich people's problem, right?
Yeah, and so downsizing and learning what really makes you happy. What makes me happy is I wake up in the morning, I sit here, people join me, lots of people, and I meditate. Then I go to hot yoga, Bikram. Then I ride my scooter up into the hotel and go to cryotherapy. Then I lay on my swing and make a few business calls. I don't have a hard life.
It's beautiful.
You know, I'd like to, there's some things I'd like to take care of in America, people I'd like to pay off, to make them happier, and to get me out of the, you know, other than that, I don't need anything. You know, my Toyota is 8 years old here. I may get a Toyota.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Bali, right? But you know, you have to build. Look, at the same time, you have to understand you have to build this whole sanctuary for yourself. I think that's where the money comes in, that you can buy yourself this level of freedom.
Yeah, the sanctuary is for everybody else, and it's true. But I like the cryo chamber. You know, that's expensive. But you know, ice bath is pretty good too. Much cheaper.
What do you understand about the current social media and the dating landscape and how society has changed? I'm asking this because if you were 25 years old right now, how would you approach things like marriage? Because the social contracts have sort of changed a lot. The world is no longer the same.
I can't answer. I haven't learned much. Right. I learned that, you know...
like, would you get married if you're 25 years old today?
Well, I didn't get married at 25. I got married at 40. At 39 or 40. I don't think I would marry 25, but you never know. Maybe you meet your dream partner. I don't think it's changed much. What has changed is that people have too much access.
Yes.
And they are not able to settle on in confidence in finding a good choice. They would never accept a good choice, no matter how many times you give it to them. So
I would tell you, it always feels like the grass is greener. There's always a better person you're going to meet.
Oh yeah. Well, even as a kid, we always say, oh man, I want a girl, and then oh my God, I can't take it. Oh my God, I want it, back and forth. You know, but some people, I see Ice Cube, I see Snoop Dogg, I see Ice-T, I see so many people. I see Noriega, I see Fat Joe, I see Curtis Blow. I see all of my contemporaries married for 30 years and happy.
Yes.
Snoop Dogg.
I mean, Jay-Z is one of those.
Jay-Z. Not as long as, I'm talking about 30-year, 35-year partnerships that I've seen in hip hop, more stable than the mainstream by far.
By far.
So I've seen that, and I applaud my brother Reverend Run, you know. So I applaud that, and I think that family is important, and that social media has not destroyed them, and it's just a question of having the toughness to stick with it. That's right.
Okay, lastly, who is the GOAT of rap? Like, who is number one? I know you have a lot of friends.
Everybody does different things. No, I don't have to worry about what You know, everybody's different. They're goats for different reasons. You know, when you think of Ice Cube and his wife, and you know what he's done with his life, and you think
No,
of
no, no. Just wait.
Ice-T.
Let's just talk about rap. Just hip hop rap.
As a rapper.
As a rapper, yeah.
Oh fuck. So many great rappers.
But who is the GOAT? Who would you say, like this guy
Here's
right
the thing
here?
I learned as a yogi. You like what you're listening to.
At that moment in time, yeah. If you ask me now, I would say Jay Electronica.
He's great.
Yeah.
Great rapper. I wouldn't have said it, but it's a great rapper. I understand it. And at a certain moment, listening to Jay Electronica, I feel that.
Yes.
Chuck D, I feel that when I'm listening to him. Jay-Z, I feel that. Kendrick Lamar, I feel that. You know, I remember even listening to Drake, you know, with his response to Meek Mill. I was like, wow, this motherfucker.
He's good.
You know, there's a lot of great rappers. My brother said, once again, my friend, not a trend, but then they said rap was crap, and perhaps it's been.
Yeah.
Ruler came with a cooler name. He danced. So he was fucking amazing, right? There's amazing rappers. DMC said, devastating mic controller, word wizard, and a cheap rock roller.
Right.
Bad B-boy made for the B-girl, right? So they were great, right? There's so many great rappers. They all have their different things. I can't pick one.
But then would you pick producer-wise? Like, who is the best producer of all
I
time?
don't know. I mean, there's Dre, there's Rick Rubin. I think Dre's for hip-hop. You know, one of the, and there's Timbaland, and there's so many. So many
Swiss
great.
Beats?
Pharrell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's tough.
Pharrell's up there. Pharrell made that T.I. record.
You recently, I mean, he's still
And that
active,
shit is
but-
like, listen to the record, it sounds like, you know. So, no, he's capable of doing anything. So they're all very talented. I can't pick one.
Okay, that's politically correct.
Yeah, well,
Answer.
I'm not trying to be political. I'm just telling you, I just can't answer the fucking question. It's
Okay,
hard.
so let's speak. If Nas had to drop an album, say this is his last album, and you have to pick his producer, who are you picking?
I wouldn't be able to do it because I'm not as up to date on who's hot
who's
at this
pretty-
moment. I heard some shit by Timbaland the other day, made me think of him. I heard a Rick Ross song that he made in the office of Larry. You know Larry, who owns Gamma.
Yeah.
Larry Jackson's office. I heard it, and it was pretty phenomenal at Gamma. And but I just said, wow, what a track! So anybody could have rapped over that track. Kanye is the baddest motherfucker on the planet.
I would say the GOAT. Kanye is the GOAT.
Oh my God, Kanye! See, we didn't even mention him. Kanye, new album. I was like, mind-boggling how great it is.
Mm-hmm.
What a genius he is. What a genius.
He can switch and turn, give you different kind of
everything.
sounds.
He's
you know?
everything.
Yeah. I think he's the greatest
What's
artist
that
of all
song?
our
This
time.
ring that I hold, light him up, pass. I said, oh my God, this motherfucker. You know, he speaks to a lot of different emotions. You know,
Yes,
in his
true.
productions. You know, so.
And you can sort of feel what he's going through in that moment. He's very raw. You know, he
Yeah.
gives it all out there.
I want to be careful. Can we do the section about politics over?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I wanted to say, you know, I mean, I've been a Democrat my whole life, and you know, I like a lot of, you know, everything, the ideals, even the idea of socialism. I mean, I don't see why you can't be a very rich company with a lot of billionaires who are forced to pay for the people in the underserved community. I mean, in the future, maybe because of AI, won't have that. But you know, Singapore Inc., most capitalist place on the planet in some ways. The government's invested in the companies in Singapore, right?
Yes.
So they don't let poor people, there's no such thing as a poor person.
Yes.
So you can have socialist ideas. You can give everybody health care. You can give everybody education. You can make it your business to make sure that in our budget those things exist and not destroy your capitalist base. So this idea that it's one or the other, like you're either a communist or you're completely let the poor suffer, is insane. So I just wanted to say that. It's very important because this idea, I mean, I don't think you have to be as radical as what looks like Mandami is turning into. You know, all he is I'm going to tax, I'm going to tax, I'm going to. You know, rich people don't go for that. They have to succeed to give back.
Yes.
And you have to be careful to have a balance. And of course, you know, it should be the norm that people have health care and education, like everywhere in the world. What
Perhaps-
country are you from?
Malawi and South Africa.
Okay, I don't know your country's politics, but
Yeah.
they try to take care of people's health care.
Yeah, healthcare, it's free for everybody.
In Malawi.
Yes, imagine. That's normal
Americans
for
don't
most
know that
countries.
shit. It's not normal to Americans to have
Right.
free health care.
You just go to the hospital, that's it. You get help, boom, boom, boom. You go, if you want, you can go for private. just like we do with school, right? You can go to public school, you can go to private school.
Of course, but you
Right.
have health care.
You have healthcare, yeah.
Malawi.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Americans don't know that. They think you Africans live in tents. They're stupid, and it's insulting.
Right.
The way that you've been depicted in the American. But it's changing.
But you know,
It's changing.
even Europe, there's this whole narrative of it's the rich people are the problem, let's blame the billionaires. What do you think that most people who are not wealthy don't understand about being wealthy and wealthy people like you? Because when they're talking about those guys, they're actually talking about you as well.
Well,
They think that you just have a bunch of billions in the bank and then just sitting there and then paying everybody.
That's the wrong guy. You talk about my wealth, but I can tell you this. Everyone has an opportunity to be successful in America, as you said. And I want people to be encouraged by, be inspired by, and learn from all the success stories that they come across.
Yes.
That's what I would like for people to have. The system will not change. We hope that we can promote free health care. We hope that we promote really good education for everyone. We hope that we can give people the trampolines they need to get out of the mud when they are in the mud. But we cannot blame everyone. We have to take individual. Mr. Farrakhan always told me, and he'd say, stop promoting all of these ideas. Teach people to do for self.
Mm-hmm. That's the most powerful one.
You know, and do for self was the most important thing that I ignored. My second father told me my whole life. And now I realize while I was doing for myself, I was worried about everyone else, which I still care deeply about the suffering of black people in America. But I know that the best way out of suffering for them is to do for self.
For self, absolutely. There's a guy on X, I think he's called the X Boys or something. Since you like to donate, I always encourage people to donate to him. He teaches black kids how to have handy skills, how to build a table, you know, like woodwork to plumbing and so on and so on, like at a very young age, and how to conduct themselves. I think it's one of the most impressive initiatives I've seen by a young black person running in America.
Well, I just want people to have the fortitude and the inspiration to go out and do the things that will help them to get. My man just got my son, Jinx. There's a rapper who was 15 when I found him. He had just been shot. And I took him in, and I raised him and got him through college. He was 14. He had just been shot. I raised him, and I got him into college. Nobody in his family had ever seen college. And I moved him in with someone who worked with me. And he was doing very well, but he did get shot a few separate times going to his old neighborhood. And one time he ended up going to jail for, it was 30 years, but he's only did whatever, 14, 15 years. So he's home now. He came out of jail, very positive, read all the books I told him to read, really felt guilty for having, fucked up one last time and ending up in jail. But the whole time he was in jail, he bettered himself. He started a clothing company from jail. He has this clothing company, it's profitable. To me, profitable clothing company. Fat Farm took years and a lot of millions to go down the drain before it turned the corner.
Yeah.
He didn't lose anything. He turned it into a profitable company. It's called Urban Graduate. The pictures, look at Jinx the Juvie on Instagram, if you can post a picture. Jinx the Juvie got out of jail, found a job, found a place to live, pays child support, got a car, got fired because they had laid off people, got laid off I should say, got a new job, went to work, was still building. It's unbelievable what he's been able to do for himself with no help. Just come home from jail, just got home. I would have thought he was so disoriented, he wouldn't know where he was. He was right away, hit the ground running. And now he's on his third job. He's got laid off twice, he's on a third job. And he's excited because his temp agency sent him to this place. And he showed me how he looked with his suit going to, this guy did it all by himself. There was nobody told him he couldn't do it. He's black, he's an ex-con. He just said, I'm going to do it. And I think that that's a lesson that I never took to heart. When I saw my own success, I saw a success that my friends had, I never took to heart that everybody has these opportunities. And it's a very conservative view, and you might say I'm a sellout, but stop asking a white man. You gotta stop.
And do for self.
And do for self. And I think that that attitude has to be more prevalent in our black community, and we have to stop, even when it comes to the violence in our communities, so much talk about police, but not enough talk about our own community members.
But do you think there's also a cultural belief that when you believe it so much that it becomes a reality? Like, I lived in South Africa, right? There's a belief that people commit crime, and it's one of the highest crime-ridden countries at the moment. And one of the things that people say is it's because of poverty. But then, when I come to places like Indonesia here, there's also a lot of poverty.
But no crime.
But no crime. So
also, people live here, and suffering is you create it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There are people living without resources that are very, very happy.
Yes.
Half the people in the world live on less than $1 a day.
Absolutely.
And many of them are happy. All the people who are rich are unhappy.
Yes.
Dave Chappelle told me, I told him that story years ago, and he said it made a difference. Life can only give you a comfortable seat. That's it. The seconds of presence I referred to early. This is all life can give you. The more seconds of awareness, of presence, of God's consciousness that enter you, the more of a winner you are. When your mind is racing and its neediness is your mantra, you suffer. You cannot suffer when the state of needing nothing is yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Is what my book, I call it Super Rich.
Super rich, yeah.
Right, so
everybody reads Super Rich, by the way.
it's the state of needing nothing, which is nirvana or God consciousness. I referred to, taqwa, Muslims call it. And the only thing you can do is sit your ass in one seat, no matter how rich you are.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck
Even
how
if
much
you have 8
money
cars.
you got. Yeah, nigga, one seat at a time. And you have to know this. And when you can be comfortable in that seat, everything comes to you.
How many cars you have?
I have one 8-year-old Toyota. I got a scooter.
Okay, and how old are you now?
68.
68. At 68, what was your first experience of life? Of knowing that, I'm Russell and I'm here. What was your first?
I don't remember. I don't know. Kind of
when did you ever feel? What was the first memory of life that you remember?
Memory of life. First
Yeah.
memory of life. I don't know. Do you have yours?
I have.
Well, good for you.
It was my third birthday. I woke up and my mom had organized. I came from school and then I was saying, I learned from counting from 10 to 20. But then the way I was writing after 20, I was writing 21. I was putting 201, 202, 203. And then she corrected me.
That's what you remember, but you had to have previous memories to that, right?
No, that's literally like the first thing I remember of me being alive.
I remember holding my mother and father's hands and singing, "I hate my mommy and daddy." I swear I remember that. And I thought about that the other day, hate my mommy and daddy. And I remember walking
Is
down.
it a song or that's what you were thinking?
That was my song.
Okay.
It wasn't a real song.
Okay.
But I remember that. And I don't know my first memories, but before that, but they were,
And at this
they're not
age,
so significant that I remember them.
And at this age, what do you think you know the most?
I know that this goal of life is self-discovery. And everything else is a journey towards that. And everything in yoga, like you have 8 limbs. You said non-harming, non-lying, non-stealing. You have all those things. And then you have the observances, contentment and cleanliness and dedication and focus and hard work and study of self and giving your efforts to God or the greater good. You have all of these things. You have all of these different limbs in yoga or different promotions from the Bible and the Quran and the Torah. Everything is about self-discovery. And when you know the self, you know God. When you know God, there's no suffering. Those moments that you run and you're fully present, they can cut your arm off. You'd be like, oh shit, my arm's gone.
Yeah.
No pain.
Right.
There is no suffering in the present moment.
Uh-huh.
In the present moment, there's no suffering. So this is what life is about, to come to those seconds, to expound on those seconds. That's it, that's life. To expound on the seconds, and this is why we meditate.
But then do you think that we're here just to feel good? To
No,
just
no,
live
no,
and feel good?
no, we're here to feel bad. We're here to suffer, and so that we can become this person who knows how not to suffer. We're here to learn not to suffer. And I don't mean not to have bad experiences in the world, because those experiences, life is like a movie for the yogi.
Yes.
Just watching. Curious, the watcher. And then a watcher when they cut the arm, the watcher.
The watcher.
You know, life is like a movie and you are the watcher. And you don't have to get emotionally or physically wrapped up in this world. God gives you the instructions when you're present and awake, and you just go do.
Everywhere that I go, and just 7 minutes before, that's the watcher.
Oh,
People I used to know. Yeah, Eminem and Dr. Dre. Yeah. All right. I think we can end it here for now. I know you have things to do.
Okay.
But I could go on and on. You have.
well, I hope you have something. I don't know what
I have a lot. I have a lot.
Did
to
we
work
talk
with.
about, you don't care about too much of it. You have, don't get me in trouble with the liberals. Them motherfuckers go crazy.
Yeah, of course.
But I still, I agree that, there's a more conservative strain in me. I should say that. There's as I've gotten older as a yogi, I learned something. And which relates in some ways to my belief about politics.
Mm-hmm. But is it about yoga, or do you think?
No, it's about right behavior.
Right.
The yogis have these limbs, these scriptures, just as the Buddhists have it, just as the Christians and the Muslims, they're all the same. Right behavior is right behavior.
Mm-hmm.
This idea of enabling everybody to do whatever the fuck they want.
Right. I think that is, the Democrats' persona or proposal. Is that everybody can just be anything. You can do
maybe
whatever.
It should be controversial.
Right.
But I'm not an elephant. I don't give a fuck what you make me.
Right.
Won't be an elephant. I'll be a man.
But look,
I'm a man. I'm going to be a man, period. I'm not going to be able to be, I may be a ladyboy or whatever the fuck, but I'm not going to be a woman.
Yeah.
It ain't going to happen.
But
it's just not going to fucking happen.
Where do you think this came from?
And then the anger for people, from someone who says maybe they don't believe that, that you're in the wrong body and all that, You could be born with, we all have divine feminine and divine masculine qualities.
Mm-hmm.
You could be more feminine, male, possibly born that way, genetically born that way, but you're never going to be born a woman if you're born a man. This might be controversial.
Where do you think it came from, to the point that people believe this irrational concept, to the point that they think it's
Well, you
real?
and I are saying it's irrational, but we're going to get in trouble for saying
Well,
it.
it's objectively irrational. I don't care how somebody sees it, but I can defend it logically or whatever.
We can defend them of it all day long, but they going to still beat your ass for saying it.
But what do you think?
I don't believe it. I don't believe giraffes are cows. I'm not a giraffe. I'm a man. I could be a gay man. I could be a ladyboy, like I said, but what I'm not going to be is a woman. It's just not going to happen.
What do you think happens in Hollywood when, a lot of people believe this kind of stuff more in California and so
And this is the problem with the left. They're delusional on many issues. And, and I've been far to the left of all of them. I supported Dennis Kucinich running against even Obama just to get him into the debate.
Right.
I supported him. I put money. I traveled with him. I just wanted to hear his voice in the debate. I supported every left idea that ever existed, except, I was the first straight man to ever receive an award from GLAAD, which is the main organization defending gay people and their rights and promoting their rights. And I'm a big supporter of them, and I've worked with them to get people who are homophobic to make amends and say the right things, and I think that's admirable of me, generous of me spiritually. But I did it, and I wanted to do it, and I felt it was necessary. And I don't want people to suffer, and I don't want people, but I do not believe that I have to accept every narrative written by these communities, and it's been, it's been. I see Dave Chappelle. Has gone through a hell of a lot of shit. I don't want
Right.
to go through that shit.
But at the same time, I think as much as people can say whatever they want about Trump, he has tried to reverse some of this bullshit. Like wokeism is dead. Now people are more comfortable to speak their own mind on Twitter. or
Yeah,
even
but
on Instagram
also
a little bit more.
it's true, and you're right. It's dead, and but there are some things that the woke word didn't mean delusional before.
Yeah, of course.
But when so it's being promoted as if it means delusional. Woke means compassionate, awake, and protecting each other and supporting each other and walking each other home. That's what woke's supposed to mean.
But then,
Spiritually awake,
Right.
right? It's supposed to mean that. But it doesn't mean hard-headed and mean and angry and judgmental.
it came with those kind of traits, plus things like Me Tooism and victimization of people and so on, to the point that nobody likes the idea
The
of woke.
40-year-old stories about me, I don't remember as told. That's all you can say. You don't know what to say. I didn't know that you felt this way, and I'm really sorry. Even saying that, I mean, oh, you're guilty.
Right.
I don't know you felt this way. I'm so sorry. I certainly have taken 9 lie detector tests on that subject. 9. 7 from the chairman of the Polygraph, and no one will even print that. So call up the chairman of the Polygraph Association. Talk to him, right? But so now I'm in lawsuits and shit, at HBO and all. But yes, I think that the left is going off the rails to some degree. And
Do you think who do you
one
think
example is obviously the whole arguments about
gender?
Yeah, gender. I think.
But then who do you think will be the next president for America? Is it Gavin Newsom?
I hope it doesn't have to be far right or far left.
Okay.
I hope it doesn't have to be. I don't know. I'm less interested in politics than I am in individuals and helping people.
Yes.
Today, going forward, when my life is more settled, I want to be a good servant of the community.
Yes.
I want to work in nonviolence programs that I've worked in the past. I want to work with Muslim-Jewish relations like I did for 25 years. I want to work in things that are meaningful, underwriting art education programs for kids so they can dream. I want to do the things that I've done in the past before I went through this scandalized few years. I want to go forward in doing good. I do not want to get involved in politics going forward. I think that they're so polarized that no one's listening to anyone anyway.
Yes, right. So
Everybody's got their opinion, their pain body makes the choices, and they live with them. They live with the opinions that their gang told them to live with,
Yes.
and they're all programmed, and they're all socialized by the community that they came from, and that's it.
There's a fundamental problem when you declare to be either Democrat or Republican, because then you have to subscribe to all those ideas that comes with
You
that.
shouldn't have to.
You shouldn't
You
have
should say I'm more Democratic than I am Republican. I'm more Republican than I am Democratic. But you can't, because if you say as a liberal, for instance, that, of course, don't you hope that the tariffs work in America? If you're an American, and if they work, then because the economy didn't go crazy, as everybody suggested, that maybe we don't pay taxes under $150,000. Don't you hope that the prescription drug prices go down, I don't know, 800%, he said, right? Don't you hope that that happens? Don't you hope that the war ends and that it becomes this more unified Middle East? Don't you hope? I can go on and on and on. All of these things that are done in a radical way, so we don't know, like, oh my God, he just jumped on a ledge again.
Yes.
Trump's jumped off the ledge 84 times.
But what's Trump?
And every time he jumps off the ledge, not every time, but so many times, he ends up on his feet. He won the election. The first time, everybody was shocked. He won the election the second time. People were appalled, shocked. But he won. Can he win in negotiation with Iran to such a point that maybe the Iranian regime learns to be nicer to its people if they stay in office as they are? Or can they learn to get along with and let the rest of the Middle East and them have better relations? And could Lebanon calm down? Could Israel stop? Could he calm Israel down? Could it happen? Today he made this statement.
There's a narrative out there. I'll ask this because you've partied with Trump, you've been at his house, you used to be, you spent time with him. Do you think Trump is being blackmailed because of the Epstein files? There's this whole narrative running on the internet right now. Do you think the Epstein files are the reason why he attacked Iran and he started all these things to cover it up?
I can't say that because I don't know any of that to be true or not. You know, I can't comment on that because I don't know if that's true. I think that the American government has always supported that proxy in the Middle East, that that's been their home base and that's been their military base. America has always been imperialistic. One thing I noticed about Trump, he's more transparent than any president we've had.
Yes.
When Obama killed Gaddafi, he didn't say it was because he was creating his own currency, did he?
No.
I mean, so I killed him because everybody had health care, everybody had education, everybody could be sent anywhere in the world and be educated, and the government would pay for it. There was no poverty in. He killed because what? What was the reason he killed Gaddafi?
Terrorists and so on. It's always about things like that. He's a dictator.
But his people had everything they could possibly want. So we killed Gaddafi, and we never really discussed why, because it's not something the American people are privy to.
Yes.
We can always suspect that's because he created his own currency.
But then
was working on creating his own currency.
With
and
what
the World
Trump,
Bank didn't like that, did they?
No. But with what Trump is doing now, are you surprised by anything, or he has always been like this, even behind closed doors?
I think he's always been, you know, not a politician.
Yeah.
He's always been a person who just shot from the hip, said how he felt.
Yes.
Didn't disguise it or politicize it. He just promoted it. I hope that what he does works out. Again, I understand why people, and certainly when it comes to race, I know they have many things to point their fingers at, but I think that he hates liberals. And if 95% of black people are liberals,
that's a very interesting way of thinking about it.
Well, I mean, if he's marginalizing a district in Texas, if they are the Republicans, it's because they're Democrats. So if you go to a white neighborhood and there's 70% Democrat, some liberal white neighborhood, it's not 95%.
Yes.
So the best we can marginalize everybody who might vote against us. Democrats, part of their narrative of bringing people in the country is that they will be Democrats.
Yes.
So we are political football. And
what do you think these people would learn?
As Malcolm X would say. Huh?
What if these, let's say, take an average American from the hood, anywhere in America, and you bring them to Indonesia, to Bali, what do you think they can learn about race concepts and all these ideas?
Race doesn't have to define you. Most important thing. As you're growing up in the hood, race doesn't define you. And you, as you know, you can go in America and pretty much do anything you want.
Yeah.
And I want my people to believe that. Not to say, oh, I'm black, I can't do it. Because I think that's a crutch that Democrats like you to have. And not only Democrats, it's just we're going to save black people. Black people don't need saving, they need to save themselves.
Yeah.
This is a lot of politics. I don't know if I should be talking about it. It's just my personal belief system that we are in a moment where black people have to take advantage of the opportunities and have to do for self, as Minister Farrakhan has told me since I was a child. And all this time, until more recently, in my meditation as a yogi, I started feeling like there is right action and wrong action.
Would you agree that building is a big part of this? Because for me as a black person, as an African, to be in the middle of Bali and sitting right here and staying at a beautiful resort that's owned by a black person, I think that's more powerful than some Democrat telling me of some kind of victim story. You know, to me that means that
I come from the hood and I don't feel like a victim.
Right.
And I want us as black people to rally around the idea that we are powerful and that we have every opportunity to do anything that we see, that we can imagine. Great teacher Yogananda, Paramahansa Yogananda said, the imagination is God. And then he said, hard work, dedication, faith, and resilience, and your imagination is already true. Enough faith, instant. But for most of us, the hard work, dedication, and resilience is part of the path to make our dream true. But for the enlightened being, it's instantly true. Right? He's happy as the world is in perfect order. And he sees the next incarnation of the world and therefore he can just imagine it into existence. The rest of us, we have to work.
So Uncle Russ, you're also a father, and I mean, your family is very public, has been in the public space for a long time. You live here, I believe they mostly live in America, all of them. Are you the only one that lives here? Or?
No, my daughter Yoki lives right there.
Okay.
She lives here for the last couple years. Yeah, Ming lives in LA. I speak to her. Not, no father speaks to their daughter enough. I don't care how many times I speak to her. It's never enough. But I speak to Ming Lee quite often, but Yoki lives here. So every morning, some mornings she meditates with me, other mornings. She's working on these brilliant AI tools, toys, and she works all the time to live in this beautiful place and almost never go out. She goes out sometimes. She goes to the gym, comes back, and goes back to work, which I'm very proud of her. She also, just went back to America and shot a Banana Republic campaign. She went back and shot her mother's reality TV show. So she goes back quite often to America, but she lives here.
She just likes it here, I suppose, right?
Yeah, and sometimes a daughter needs her father.
Yeah.
America in fashion was a bit toxic for her. It's toxic for any model in that space and difficult. And so she, instead of using her beauty, decided to come back and use her brain. She graduated Harvard at 19.
Right.
So she's, and what she's doing now is beyond, it's beyond my comprehension really. But I've introduced her to a number of people who come back and tell me that what she's doing is incredibly brilliant. So I'm very proud of her.
So how does it work in a family like yours, where whatever happens is in the public space, and then how your business is in the press, your daughters are affected by it because they're linked to you.
Yes.
How do you deal with all that when it happens?
I like not to talk much about my ex-wife. I like to keep, but sometimes the attempt is made to rewrite history. And I've been in, as you may have seen, a bit of legal battle with her. Her husband is in jail now, but was a partner of mine in a business, and it all got messed up. And one day I woke up and the government was holding my stock. So I've been fighting over it for 5 years. Very significant amount of stock. And so it's a source of pain for me. And even as a yogi, it's hard to just fully digest. But I accept it as my journey, and I'm in the middle of hopefully settling that one day soon and putting it behind me. But when I wake up to claims of abuse or of taking advantage or something, I sometimes want to respond, because there is a blueprint or an imprint that's made in the minds of people who my children will interact with, and who my future legacy will be resurrected by. And I do have some concern about my contributions being diminished. They're already here. They're in stone. God will write my legacy, not me or the human beings I'm referring to. But sometimes I like to correct when I think history is being rewritten in front of me. And so when I have the urge to do that, I generally just don't do it.
That must be a difficult position also, because I've never been married or have kids at all. So I wonder what it's like to have kids, and then you have a partner, and then maybe you have beef with a partner, then you have to also be respectful because she's the mother of your children.
She's an excellent mother.
Right.
She helped raise beautiful daughters. We both have our kinks and things that could cause generational curses. I pray that my kids take the best of her and the best of me. And I see that already in Yoki and in Ming. I see that where they've gained from their mother's insight and support and discipline, because I was never the disciplinarian, the toughness that they have in part came from their mother. And their brilliance must have come from their mother, because my daughter is a genius. Right. And I know I'm not a genius by any means of stretch. So
very humble of you.
I appreciate what she's done for my children.
Yes.
And as the mother of my children, I have to love her, even if I'm sometimes disappointed. And that's really where I am. You know, I don't like to see history being rewritten. And sometimes I do respond, and people say, you know, why is he bitter? I think it goes back more to the stealing of my stock. Right? This is something that also...
Is this about Celsius?
Yes, Celsius, right? So, and that's all public is why I'm saying it. But other than that, you know, people make mistakes. I'm sure she's sorry she did it, because no matter what we get back, it'll never be what we deserve. And it's because it was used for his bail. And it is what it is. It's behind me now. I mean, hopefully it'll get really behind me, because it's been a long time fighting to get my stock back. So, you know, I hope I get it back. I hope I resolve, and I hope that one day to be able to, you know, have a Thanksgiving dinner with her and the children. But if not, I just want my children to know that their parents are not perfect.
Yes.
And when it comes to, you know, the misgivings, let them go. Don't carry them yourself. Those are your parents' misgivings.
Yes.
And that's what I hope that they do. I hope that they get the best of me and the best of their mother and just go out into the world and contribute goodness to the world.
And I think they're already doing it.
Yes.
And they're doing very good at it.
Yeah, I'm very proud of them.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Funny story. So I learned first about this place from one of your daughters. We stayed in the same hotel, I think. So in the gym, she told me about this place.
What hotel?
I think it's, what is the hotel in Brickell? Is it W in Miami? I think, yeah.
There's a W in Miami, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The one in Brickell. So she was at the gym there, I was there, and then I obviously noticed her.
That must have been Ming Lee.
I think it is
Yoki?
the one who was here.
Oh.
Yes.
You saw Yoki here.
Yes, yeah, I saw her.
So, all right. Well,
so interesting now that, you know, it came full circle and I saw her.
I love
here.
my daughters. I love what their mother has done in raising them. And I pray that the differences that we have are resolved soon.
Amazing, man. Thanks again.
Thank you.